Sometimes stigma does not shout, does not make any noise. It is in the whispers, it is in the glances, it is in the quiet looks, it is in the sudden distance when people find out that a person is living with HIV. So we don't talk about this enough. That stigma hurts more than the virus itself. Stigma isolates, stigma shames, stigma silences a person. Now, stigma does not come from HIV. Stigma comes from people. It comes from human beings like you and me. And until we are able to address this properly, we cannot say we are living free. Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Living Free. I am Leo Udondata, and today we will be talking about HIV and stigma. So I had a conversation with someone, and he said, "Oh, if I am HIV positive, I can handle that. But what I cannot handle is the stigma that comes with it. It's the way people will treat me if they find out that I am HIV positive, and that is totally understandable. But before we even proceed with how people stigmatize people who are living with HIV, how people's behaviors change, how people distance themselves, let us ask ourselves the question: How did we get here? How did we get to this point? With the discovery of HIV, and the awareness that was created about it, we heard things like, oh, HIV is a killer disease, HIV, and HIV, of course, was mostly associated or mostly, used interchangeably with AIDS. Yes, AIDS is the advanced, stage of HIV, like you've heard in previous episodes, of course. And but most of the awareness that we got back then was that, oh, once you get HIV, you are dead. Once you get HIV, you are almost as good as nothing, as good as dead. So, besides people trying to, stay free from the virus, protect themselves and all that, the adverse effect was that people looked at people who tested positive to HIV in a certain way. People behaved a certain way, a certain negative way, a certain, unpleasant way towards people who tested positive to HIV. Once your status becomes known, you are treated like some kind of outcast or something. So, and that is the problem. And that problem continues even to this very day. Even with all the enlightenment, all the information at our disposal, we get to find out that somebody is living with HIV and we are like, oh, I can't live with the person. I can't eat with the person. I can't, stay close to this person. Why? So that I don't get HIV. But trust me, that's the height of ignorance. So the problem here is that stigma does not come from the virus. No, it does not come from HIV is just the virus, that alters your immune system and all that. The stigma comes from people's ignorance, people's unwillingness to get to know the right thing, get to know and do the right thing. So that is a problem we have, and that is a problem we are addressing in today's episode of Living Free. Now, what does stigma do to a person? Stigma silences a person. People, as we have already said in our previous episodes, for fear of testing positive, for fear of what the society might do to them, people do not want to get tested. People do not want to know what the outcome would be. And that leaves them at a higher risk of living with HIV and not knowing about it, and then spreading the virus to other people. And even when people get to know their HIV status, even when people test positive to HIV, they know that they are living with this virus in them. They know they should take care of themselves. They choose to live in denial. They convince themselves that they are not living with HIV. Why? Because it is easier to live a lie than to face your fears head on. That is what stigma does to people. So, beyond making the individual not want to get tested, not want to get to know their HIV status, or not accept the truth about their HIV status, even when they get to know that they are living with HIV. Stigma does even more harm across communities, workplaces, places of worship, and all that. People face a lot of rejection. People are denied jobs. People are thrown out of their homes. People have, failed marriages, and people are denied even admission, into schools because of their HIV statuses. Speaking of workplace discrimination, because of people's HIV status, there are real and, of course, documented cases of, workplace discrimination because of HIV status. We have, for instance, the case of Georgina Ahamefule, the Imperial Medical Center, Lagos, where, Georgina fell ill and the medical director of the Imperial Medical Center made her undergo an HIV test without her consent just because she was sick and hospitalized. And when the results came out positive, she was fired and told never to return to the Imperial Medical Center. Now, she sued the hospital, she sued its medical director because first, she did not consent to it. And even if she consented to that test, she shouldn't have been discriminated because she tested positive to HIV. And of course, in 2012, I think the case was ruled in her favor at the Lagos High Court. Now, that is a win. But there are many other instances where people, get denied jobs or get fired from their places of work or get denied access to healthcare or education or, very many other opportunities just because they are living with HIV. Sometimes we could be the agents of stigma, and even without knowing, in the jokes we make about people living with HIV or even about the virus itself, or in the assumptions that we make that, oh, it is, immoral people or, people with promiscuous sex lives or, sex workers or careless people that get HIV. But the reality is that anybody can be HIV positive. This lays a responsibility on us to be empathetic, to be sympathetic towards people who live with HIV. So let us imagine a world where everybody, every human being, is a support system for people living with HIV. Just imagine for a minute. Imagine what that kind of world would be like. The risk of the spread of HIV reduces because people would be comfortable to walk into health facilities to get tested, to know their status, and get treatment as soon as possible. People would be careful with their lives and not spread the virus any further. And for the people who live with HIV, I think being able to reach that undetectable mark should be a desired goal. Remember we said that you equals you, undetectable equals untransmittable. Do not give in to stigma. Do not give anybody the power to, decide when you are comfortable with yourself, to decide when you are happy with yourself, to decide when you are good enough, to work or to school or to do anything with your life. Nobody has that power has the power to make such decision, but yourself. We have come a long way, in the fight against HIV. We have come a long way in the fight to stop the spread of HIV, and HIV-related infections. But something still holds us back: stigma, discrimination. So I think it is high time for us to see people, see human beings, and not their status. It is high time we begin to see human beings like ourselves, irrespective of whether they are living with HIV or they are exposed to HIV or they are living free from HIV. If we join our hands and push the fight against the spread of the stigma, then we will have come a long way in fighting the spread of the virus. Thank you very much for listening. I remain Leo Udondata. See you in our next episode.